it's growing up as well, because I've changed my game as well. As I've gotten older and as I'm playing higher up, I kind of understand that you have to be efficient, and it's finding a sweet spot between both, like a Matoma. Like, you know, when Anthony's shaking his leg and then passing it back. It's not great, do you know what I'm saying? Nah, not to disrespect Anthony.
Hello listeners, and welcome back to another episode of the Beautiful Game podcast. I'm your host Dot, and I'm joined with my right hand man Dej. What are you saying, bro?
I'm blessed, my bro. Another pod, and this time we got a visitor that's traveling from far out, 5 hours, so I know this one's going to be good.
Nah, definitely. Before we dive into the episode, I just want to plug the socials at podcast_TBG on Twitter, at pod_TBG on Instagram, and at TBG pod on TikTok. Follow the YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 30,000 subscribers. Leave a comment for the algorithm. Help us grow the platform, because as we get bigger guests come onto the platform. So we are delighted to announce we are joined in the studio with Demetri Mitchell.
My brother. Love, respect.
Nah, love for coming on, man. As you were saying, you've travelled from far out, bro.
Far, bro. Like, I was just telling you before, went down to the Jamaican embassy, applying for my Jamaican citizenship. So, yeah, I passed through, innit?
Okay, what? So that's obviously with a view to, play for Jamaica national
team
hopefully,
kind of thing. If I'm honest with you, I went to Jamaica for the first time this summer. And, of course, when I was younger, I was playing in the England youth setup. And I think going to Jamaica the first time kind of opened my eyes to, kind of felt like home a bit.
Yeah.
So without going there, I don't think I would have felt like it was the right decision to apply for my passport and try and get a call up. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do right now.
So when you say try and get a call up, obviously I saw some of your tweets and that you're obviously going to the commission. Have you had contact with the Jamaica FA, or it's more so to get yourself in a position that if they make that call, it's like, okay, I'm ready now, I got the passport kind of thing?
No, I've had it, probably in the last year, I've had a bit of contact with them, so I know there's interest, but obviously me going to the next step to actually go and get the passport, shows my seriousness about it, so yeah.
So was it one of those ones where they said, get all the stuff done, get the passport done, then we can have a conversation once you've got that all done?
Yeah, basically it was one of them, you need to show that you're serious about this thing, innit? So me coming down five hours away, jumping on a train at 6 a.m. I was at the commission today, it was kicking off.
What's happening? Because obviously we got the Nigerian commission as well, and it's a madness there.
So I'm sat there now, it's like a doctor's, so I'm there at 11:30, my appointment's at 11:40. So I'm thinking, alright, might be delayed by 5-10 minutes, innit? Jamaicans, you know what they're like, late. So I'm there, it's gone to probably an hour now, so I've gone in, put my documents in now, and then my man's gone up because he's been waiting for time, innit? Said something to him. Guy behind the desk got on a mask now. So my man says something to the guy behind the desk with a mask on. The guy opens his mask off and goes, "Suck your mother." Bro, after that, please come. My mum's going crazy, I'm reporting this. This is so anyway, my mum said, I'm not leaving until this gets dealt with. Policeman come, next minute, they locked off the place, and it was,
It's madness, man.
But I'm here now, man.
Yeah,
that's the good thing.
I think the perfect way for me to start this one is, obviously you took an Uber here, and you were having difficulties getting the Uber because they kept cancelling. So you're in the Uber today, and the Uber driver says, hi Demetri.
Yeah.
What do you do?
You see me when I'm in a situation when I'm getting a taxi, or the first thing I do is I like to ask someone's name, or just ask them how the day is, because I've noticed like small things that you can do can impact people massively. Even people sometimes complain about, you know, talking to a taxi man and the taxi man's waffling, blah, blah, blah. But to them, they're sat in a car all day, like different people, just ignoring them. Like they just want to have a conversation sometimes. So, you know, just give them 5-10 minutes of your time, speak to them. So most of the time, I'm into business, so I ask them like, how's Uber work? What cut did it take? Just show a bit interesting to them. More time to ask about me. And then, yeah, like after 5-10 minutes, like I might settle down and just put my AirPods in. But, you know, 5-10 minutes, it's good to speak to different people, not just your little bubble.
No, that's interesting. I know we're going to talk more about a footballer's bubble
later
on in the show, but I want to talk to you about the start of your journey because like it's been a hell of a journey so far in terms of you've played for one of the biggest clubs in the country or in Europe, I might say. So talk to us about the humble beginnings growing up in Manny.
Yeah, so for me, I started at Fletcher Moss. So the likes of like Marcus, Danny Welbeck, myself, and a couple others have played for Fletcher Moss. So it's quite a well-known team in Manchester locally. Got picked up around 5-6 for like the development centre, and I don't think you can sign until you're 8. So I signed at 8. You start at the Cliff and Littleton Road, and then once you get to 12, you move to Carrington, where there's 2 buildings, first team and under 16s downwards, under 18s, 23s and first team in the same building. So yeah, man, I was living in Stretford, right next to the stadium, could actually probably see it from the street of my house. I was at a school that, it wasn't a bad school, but wasn't the best, you know what I mean? Council estate, not the best school. And, you know, I wanted to be, for some reason, I don't know why, but the popular kids are the ones that are the naughty kids, innit?
Yeah.
So I wasn't really in trying to be naughty, innit? But I wanted to be popular, you know what I'm saying? So obviously I was in and around the wrong crowd sometimes. But then my mum, which I thought at the time, she just wanted to get rid of me. United was doing a programme of Ashton on Mersey where certain kids that were playing for the academy would move to Ashton on Mersey school, and I thought my mum was trying to push it because she had enough of me, because me and my mum when we was younger used to clash quite a bit. So then anyway, I've moved to the school now after year 9, so I'm doing year 10 and 11 now. Marcus is already there, McTominay, Josh Harrop, Devontae Redmond joined the same year as me, Axel Twanzebe.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, it was a good group of lads that was there. But that transition there, going from training twice a week as you do at like 12-13, going on a Tuesday and a Thursday, to when you join the Manners program, you're then training Monday to Friday, game on a Saturday, but you're training twice in 3 of them days. So going from training twice a week to 8 times a week pretty much was like probably the biggest stepping stone in my development as a kid.
So like you mentioned in terms of growing up, you grew up in a council estate. That's like a familiar journey for a lot of like the London kids that make it. So talk to us about that, because I think those early days kind of shape people's character in terms of what they're around, the influences and what was happening on the streets. Yeah,
like obviously like you just said, a lot of people grow up from a council estate and end up being professors. So I don't think that's nothing special. I'm just stating it. But it just becomes the normal to you. Like for me, I wouldn't change it for the world. Just knocking about, playing football, sometimes getting involved in the wrong things. I wouldn't say anything too serious, but you know, just going to the youth clubs, fireworks, doing silly things, coming back late, you got a game the next day, like just trying to be like I said, one of the popular kids around the area, innit? So, you know, that comes with its bad bits. But nah, man, like a lot of kids come from council estates. Won't be where I am today without it, I don't think. And I'm not what's the word? I'm proud to come from a council estate. Like, you know, I've got an accent that's probably a bit not road, but a bit, I don't know. You know what I mean? It's not well spoken. You get
it's not Queen's English.
Yeah, it's not Queen's English. So I don't mind, innit? It's not like you, man, that are from London, but it's Manchester's version of man. So yeah.
So when did you realise that you've got something? Because everyone has that sort of light bulb moment when they think, listen, I'm killing it on the roads, like I'm doing my thing on football, I'm smashing up everyone, I'm ripping man, I'm doing my thing. So when did you notice that was, sort of?
And I can't even find it no more online, but I remember I got called up for England Victory Shield, innit?
Oh yeah, that's the under 16.
Yeah. And these times I'm doing really well. In fact, also had a Nike sponsorship in it, so that gassed me a bit.
Okay, jeez.
So how did you get that? How did you get the Nike sponsorship?
So at the time, United was sponsored by Nike. So I think
Okay.
Nike at that time would selectively go and pick the best players in each age group, 2 or 3, and be like, we're gonna invest into these athletes. And I think Marcus was from like the age of 11 that he was sponsored, and then like they just select, and then sometimes people will get sponsored by Adidas. Puma and that wasn't really about them, but
So when you say Marcus, is it
Rashford.
Rashford.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so what he was?
he was the guy from early stuff. I can't lie.
Is it?
From early.
Yeah,
From early,
what, just having fun.
Just, bro, I used to sometimes pick up my cereal box and he's on the back of it. I don't even know how, in the swimming pool. Like he's just star boy. Yeah, he was star boy still.
What, from what age was he?
From 12, 11. He was the year below me in school, but was both 97s, innit?
Okay, yeah.
So like in the England setup and that, he was my age, but in school he was the year below me.
Got you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. I think probably we'll talk about Marcus later on when we talk about the current Man United team. So yeah, you're at Man United, you're doing your thing, you're progressing through the ranks.
Yeah.
So like, how was that journey through the system? Was it like kind of seamless, or were there some moments where, oh, I might get released kind of thing, or you?
For me, I'd say, if I'm real with you, it's quite seamless. Like growing up, I was always one of the better players in my age group, so it was never a time where I felt I could get released. I'll get onto that in a bit later, because it did get to that point. But growing up from the age of 8 to probably 18, 19, I always felt like I was one of the main players, one of the better players in the group. So that didn't really, like I said, I got to 16, called up for Victory Shield, had the Neymar Mohican thing going on and all that. School tried to stop me from going as well. It was mad. But yeah, and then what happened is, got to under 18s now, was still doing my thing, and then I got injury. So the first actual real injury of my career, ankle injury, and it kept me out from the second season of under 18s going into 23s. So then when I came back now, I thought I was still top of the pack. Do you get what I'm saying? And I've come back now, and everything just feels 100 miles an hour. And I was out for about 6 months. Well, not 6 months. It was like 3 months, but then off season, pre-season. And I remember saying to my dad, like, everything just feels faster. But I think because it was like the step up from 18s to 23s, and I didn't have that 6 month period of like gradually training with the 23s, I missed out on that 6 months. So it was like a bit of a shock to the system. And then at that moment, I had a year where I was just a bit part player for the 23s in my first year with Warren Joyce was the manager.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, and at the end of the season, contract was done, and I was thinking, right, like, I might not get another one here. But luckily I did. And then Nicky Butts took over, and he was kind of the first person to transition me from, because you have to remember, when I was in the 23s, you had the front three, or the wingers, was like Januzaj, Rashford, Pereira would play there sometimes. So like the levels is crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
stacked,
saying?
it was stacked.
So then Nicky Butt was like, how do you feel about playing fullback? And I was like, I just wanted to play. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I'm all over it. So this was the second year of my pro, and this was by December time. So Warren had left probably, I don't know, around December. Nicky Butt's come in, and I've still not really played much football. So I'm in my second year. Only had a year contract. End of the season finished, and I've played, done my thing, and by the end of the season, it was the same year that I made my debut for United at left back.
Jeez, that's a hell of a journey.
So you were having doubts in regards to getting a new contract, right?
Yeah.
So what was like the reason why the club said, listen, we're going to put faith in you, we're going to give you that deal?
I think probably based off what I'd shown in my younger, obviously I'd been injured and these things, and I feel like the club, United, was quite good with taking those things into consideration. Like Scott was probably, I'm 5'8", he was about 5'6" in under 18s, but they believed in him.
Okay.
And he's a giant now, box to box midfielder. He was literally five. Like there's pictures where I'm towering above him in
Wow.
under 17. It's crazy.
Wow.
So like the club are quite good with players that get injured, rehabbing them back, and having faith in players that might be something in the future.
Yeah, so talk to us about the academy, because everyone knows about the class of 92.
Yeah.
As you said, like, Man United sort of have like a famed academy. You always get someone like coming through. Obviously Marcus now, Danny Welbeck, as you mentioned, Scott McTominay. So you actually like produce talent. So talk to us about that pathway, because we haven't, I don't think, spoken to like a ex-Man United player about the academy.
It's different. It's difficult to speak about it sometimes because it's just what feels normal. So some things that you might be interested in might fly over my head and think you don't want to hear about that.
Yeah.
But like, I think the main things is like everybody's in the same building, like I said. So 18s, 23s, and first team are all in the same building. And even like when I said I was at Ashton on Mersey at school, we would come in for lunch and we'd be sat with like the whole first team at 13, 14 and mingling and getting to grips with them. And we used to have this, it wasn't 5-a-side, it was more of a 7-a-side thing called the cage.
Yeah.
And you'd have like players from under 13s to the 23s all training together. So I'd be in there at like 14 training with Ravel, Pogba, Jesse, and like you blended in like as a big family rather than you're under 14s, you're under 15s. Do you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to the time where you might be ready to step up, you're comfortable around these men, innit? So you don't feel like too much pressure. They're kind of like your friends already.
Yeah,
rather than,
you got that familiarity.
Yeah. So I think that's a big thing at United, like I said, with the buildings being so close together.
And talk to us about the cliff, because I remember when Ollie was the manager, it almost became like a running joke. Oh, he's showing the players the cliff, blah blah blah. But what does that mean to
the cliff?
To
so
Manchester
the cliff
United?
The cliff. I think United moved to. I might be wrong on this, but they might have moved to Carrington in either '99 or 2001. But the cliff was obviously the old training ground where they used to train, which is now where I don't know if they still do it like this, because this was 7 years ago when I was in it. Well, not 7 years ago, it was about 4 years ago when I was in the academy, so might have changed now. But the cliff was used with Littleton Road as a place where all the ages from 8 to under 11s or 12s would train before you transition to Carrington. So the teams would still play games on the pitch though. It's like an indoor, think of it as an indoor massive dome.
Oh
for
yeah,
kids,
yeah.
And then a pitch outside, but the pitch is good quality. It's proper still. So yeah.
Okay, so like we're gonna talk about obviously making that first team debut.
Yeah.
Part of Jose Mourinho's team. You know, playing left back against Crystal Palace, final game of the season.
Yeah.
Obviously, like no small task of, up against Wilfried Zaha.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that in front of 75,000 people. Like that's the dream. That's the pinnacle.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. That was obviously one of the biggest highlights of my career. So yeah, I kind of got the nod from the manager. I remember I was in a canteen in the line, and he was like, "Are you ready for Saturday?" I hadn't heard anything about if I was playing or not. I was thinking, "Ready for Saturday? What are you on about?" And he was like, "Yeah, are you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm ready." These times, it's already crossed my mind that I'm playing against Zaha, innit? Probably. So I'm thinking, I go home now, I'm watching clips of Zaha. I'm thinking about Zaha before I go to sleep these times. You know what I'm saying? These times, this is just a above game for Zaha. So yeah, played in that game and I was nervous. I remember in a warm-up, like, I couldn't string 2 passes together in a warm-up. I was thinking, like, I'm looking around at the crowd. But I like crowds. I thrive off playing in front of crowds. Like them in-house games at the club when it's a bit meaningless. Sometimes I struggle with them to get myself up to playing them because I like the atmosphere and playing in front of a crowd, like I said. So game started. Obviously, strung a few passes together, bounced a few off Jones and that, but it was until I must have clipped about a 60-yard, 70-yard diag to Rooney in behind. And like got a little clap from the crowd, put Rooney through, like not 1-on-1, but like he had a shot on goal. And that's when I fully like I'm in the game now. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the crowd just became like just uplifting rather than I feared. You know what I'm saying? So I think I made that pass to Rooney and just settled me down. And then like had a quite a good game that match. Like, I played against Zaha, had a good battle against him. Enjoyed myself. Yeah, I tell you what, Pogba. He was helping me a lot. He was helping me out a lot in that game, like coming over, like doing his little defensive duties and just making sure that like he was good on that day still for all of us.
Yeah, so even like that's an interesting time for Man United. 'Cause I know they finished, I believe, 6th that season. but they won trophies. I believe 3 trophies at the end of that season. So talk to us about that period of Man United under Jose Mourinho.
Yeah, I don't really know where to. I was just focusing on myself, coming in training every day, getting the call, you were the first team today, or you're not with the first team today, and it was just about. I wasn't really in and amongst it too much with the. Do you get what I'm saying? So it was more the back end of the season when they were building up for that Europa League final, and I remember we had the final training session before the final, before they was flying out, and I didn't travel for that game, but he told everybody to take penalties.
Yeah.
So me and I think McTominay at the time, we took the balls and we was walking over to take the penalties with them, and he was like, no, kids, you go in. And I thought, right, I'm at T, was it? You never know, innit? But yeah, he was like, kids, go in. And but yeah, now like I have Mourinho was very good with me, to be honest. Like I can't on tour, I got minutes. I enjoyed my time with him, even though it was short lived. Like obviously, he gave me my debut, so I'm thankful for that. But little things, I think, as a young player, you got to understand. I was a bit naive in terms of, so I played my first team debut, and I don't know, maybe I am, but I don't feel like I come across as a big time character. But I went on holiday and I dyed my hair blonde. Yeah, and I've come back now. And everyone was doing it at the time, the blonde thing. Do you get what I'm saying? I just wanted to be part of the
culture.
The trend at the time, innit? But coming back now, knowing the kind of manager that Mourinho is, like he might judge that, and I'd probably judge that now if I seen a young kid at 19, 20 coming with a bleached blonde hair. Even if he means no harm by it, I just feel like it was a bit naive from me. So that's a little regret there that I probably have.
So did he comment on this, or like when you reflect on it, you think maybe shouldn't have done that, or? Obviously,
that's not going to be the defining moment of my career, dyeing my hair, but I just feel like little things sometimes don't help the situations. You know what I'm saying? So if I could give any advice to younger players, I'd say try, even if you're not intending to, think about what you're doing and try and just come across as humble as possible in certain situations.
Yeah, because you even hear, like, I don't know, maybe it was Micah Richards that we spoke to on the pod, like talking about maybe younger players coming in flashy cars. Are you talking about those kind of things that be onto you, like kind of make it until you're that guy?
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with those things, but I'm just saying I don't personally feel like there's anything wrong with if you've got enough money to go and get a nice car, but I feel like you have to be aware to understand that some people may judge it. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you're clever enough to know that some people may judge it, so I'm not gonna do that, or I'll just keep that whip at home and just come in my A class rather than bringing my CLA 45 or do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I feel like you just gotta be smart. But at that time, like when you're young, it's difficult. It's difficult.
And another person you mentioned just briefly is Paul Pogba. Obviously, there's this whole sort of media storm around him now. People sort of judge his character. They don't really know him. Because in the media, I don't know, certain people, you have to be honest, they've got like an agenda against Paul. Facts. So like, you know the guy, or you spent time with the guy.
Yeah.
So like, talk to us about how he is as a person.
For me, like, I'm not going to lie, he was one of the most embracing players in the first team when I've gone and trained with them and been a part of the squads. Him and Lukaku, 2 quality guys. I'm not just saying that, like, always making you feel comfortable around them. And there's certain players in the first team that don't always make you feel like that. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to start naming names and stuff. But those 2, Pogba and Lukaku, Phil Jones as well. But me and him was injured at the same time, so I spent quite a lot of time with him. But Pogba's just like happy-go-lucky guy. Always like grabbing you up, having a laugh, you know what I'm saying, making you feel part of and I'm sure all the other academy lads will say the same thing. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with all that's happened recently, but in terms of like day-to-day guy, man-to-man, like, he's a good guy, man.
Would you say he's the best player that you trained with?
Technically in training, like, it was frightening. Like, I always appreciate things that I can't really do when I'm watching someone else play and train. So when you see somebody so strong but still be able to move and have flair and have feet that's 6'3", probably about 95 kg, like, I'm like, wow, like, for you to be able to do that with that frame is crazy. So he's definitely up there. Marcus, the biggest thing with players that go from 23s to the first team is when they go missing for a bit and they're with the first team, and then you catch a training session with them or you go and train with them, you just see the level increase differently.
Yeah.
So I remember McTominay, so me and him was training with the first team like for quite a while, same time. Come back from tour, he's been training more with the first team. I'm more with the 23. He's about to go on loan, and he must have come to train with us because he went in the squad or for whatever reason, I don't know. And the levels was just frightening. It was frightening. I was thinking, is this the same McTominay that was from 6 months ago? It was. It's the amount you improved so drastically from just training and being around him is mind blowing.
Are you close with your dad?
Yeah, very close though.
So when you make that debut, what's the conversation?
You see me and my dad, it's like me and my best friend. He sent me a voice note the other day, yeah, and I played for you. Now I still got it, but I'm not gonna play it. The guy was like, was talking about football, and it was like at the end of it was like, all right, bro, and then it goes, I mean, son. You know what I'm saying? So me and my dad, like, it's just like, go and do your thing, man. Like, me and him would just debate about football, boxing, loads of different things, man. So like, it was more of a, like I said, a brother. I've been on holiday just me and him to iron up with my dad when I was 18. So that's the kind of relationship I got with him.
So it's like a boys' night out.
I've been to live with him, just me, him, and my boy. So yeah.
So you make your debut at Man United. You come back, and obviously, what's the conversation with the club? Is it like we want you to be around the first team, or we think you need a loan to like sort of guide your development? Or
So I made my debut. Like I said, it was a good one. Got on tour, had a good tour as well. Come back and spoke with the manager, and it was a case of, so I didn't go on loan then, I stayed, but what it was is they didn't have too many options in the left back area, so it was like, if we get injuries, you're next in line. If we
who
don't,
was the daily blend? I think Ashley Young
and Luke Shaw.
Okay.
But I think Ash was kind of playing more as a right back, I think. So it was like them two, Daily Blind, Luke Shaw, and basically me. And obviously nobody got injured. I actually wanted to go on loan, to be honest with you, because I kind of figured out I'm probably not going to play. Like you can see with the two in front of you, you're most likely not going to play in it. So played 23s, and then I went on loan in that January to Hearts. Start of January, yeah.
Just very quickly, like, how did your life change? Because you always hear it when you make your debut for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Your life is different after that. So, like, was there, like, more fanfare? Oh, that's Demetri Mitchell, bro.
Yeah,
like,
100.
How is it, bro?
Yeah, 100. Like, there's definitely... You make your debut for United, you come back to your phone, you got 50k more followers. Like,
Seriously?
Even when Marcus made his debut, I was catching followers just from him making his debut and bagging. Like, it was...
What, when he bagged Arsenal?
Yeah. No.
Oh, the Europa League.
Yeah. I've gone from like 6-7k followers on Insta to within a year probably to about 50k from Marcus making his debut. Yeah.
So what was the connection then? What
you just whoever he followed, people just following him. That's how mad it was.
So how do you deal with it, like, in terms of
I think you just, I don't know, like you just kind of, you see, you know what it is? You see how everybody else copes with it and deals with it in terms of what content they put out on social media, how they behave, and you're kind of just following their footsteps. So I don't think there's a blueprint on how to behave and how to handle yourself once you start to get some attention on social media. There's no real blueprint, but...
Did the club, like, kind of prepare you for that? Like, listen, you made your debut, be wary of this. When you go out now, you're going to get recognised. Attention from the women. Did the club like speak to you about those kind of things? Yeah,
they definitely speak to you and say be careful, but it's like sometimes when you're that age and it's no different to your mum and dad telling you not to do something and you don't really want to take it in. So as much as they tell you, like, you're none the wiser really.
So what were you watching, like Match of the Day after that?
Yeah. As soon as you finish the game, your clips are probably uploaded within 30 minutes. Even now whilst I'm at Exeter, like, your clips are there. So as soon as I'm on Huddle, I'm looking for the clips, oh yeah, my brother did this, let me watch this back. So yeah, man, it's thrilling. It was thrilling. It was a thrilling time, man. But you kind of just, you're living in it, so you don't really notice that it's such a big thing at the time. So yeah.
So what, is there anything you would have done differently? Like, would you have enjoyed the moment more, or looking back?
I probably could have come back a bit fitter, I'd say. Not the first because I went on 2 tours to LA. I went on one after my debut, and then the next year was the World Cup, and there was quite a few young players that went on the tour, and I feel like I could have prepared myself a little. I didn't come back unfit. I never unfit. Like you can see, I'm quite a lean person, but I could have come back a machine, and I just came back average for myself, if that makes sense. Like right now, I feel in tip-top condition. I feel like if I came back how I am now, then things could have maybe been a bit different. But I had a lot of injuries after my second loan spell at Hearts, so I probably missed out on about 18 months of football so I went back on loan to Hearts after the second tour. So let me just break it down. So I've gone to Hearts on loan after I've not played for the 6 months because I was staying around the first team. Got injured, came back, it's only a 6-week injury. Gone on tour again, and then I've gone on loan for the full season this time. Got injured in Feb, and then so I've got injured in Feb. That's took me out to the end of the season. Missed the transfer window, so couldn't go anywhere. Got to the next transfer window, picked up a niggle, couldn't go anywhere then, and then COVID's happened. So I've basically missed a year and a half, and by that time my contract's coming to an end. So I've missed a year and a half of football, contract's done, and I know that when you're in that predicament, you're not waiting for the call to say your contract's done. Like, you already know in the back of your head. And let me tell you something, I knew 99.9% that I wasn't getting a new contract in it. But when you get confirmed on the phone and they ring you and tell you, it just hits you differently. Even though you already knew, I don't know what it is.
So who would contact you? Is this like a club administrator?
So whoever
or
was
manager?
the academy manager at the time, at that time it was COVID, so you probably would have had a meeting at the club, but it was COVID, so we jumped on a Zoom call to get told you fate, innit? And even though I knew my fate, when they told me, it was just a lump in my throat, like, what now?
And then what happened? What happened after that phone call?
So after that, I was, do you ever put up pictures of, like, you know when you see like on podcasts and they put a little ping and there's a little picture of what someone's talking about?
Yeah.
So after that, I thought, fuck this, I'm on beast mode, innit? So my knee's still not the greatest. I've just been released and I'm thinking like, I'm on smoke. So I've built a full new gym in my back garden, not in my back garden, in my garage at home. Cost me about not too much, about 4 or 5 bags. It was COVID, so you couldn't go to the gym. That's why I bought it. Otherwise, I would have just been to PR, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So I've bought that now. I'm trying to strengthen up the leg, strengthen up the knee, and do my upper bodies and that. And I post a picture online because I'm thinking I need a club, innit? So I post a picture like this, tensing up, like this.
Like monster.
Yeah, looking like on beast mode. You get me?
Does that do anything? Does that help? Does that
help?
help?
The paper, bro. So it was in the paper, like, Mitchell been released from United, looking sharp, looking lean as ever. So I'm saying, like, it's done why. That's why I put it up. It wasn't just to be like, look at me online. I said at the time to my family, I need to do something to get back people aware of me, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm clubless now. Like, I ain't got a job now. Like, so it's got a bit of media attention. And then I'm ringing my agent. I'm saying, like, what's the plan? So my boy at the time was at Rotherham, so he's got me a trial at Rotherham, and I go in at Rotherham, stay in a hotel. I kind of only really got the trial through my boy in it, so I'm not really expecting to be getting offered a contract. It's more going there to train in it. So I've gone there now, and bro, I was moving like Ronaldinho, bro. I don't know what it was. Like, I think because I had a point to prove. I was doing flip flaps. I don't know, but I was moving warm in it. I don't know if it was because everyone had been off because of COVID as well. Been on the drinks and that, but I was moving warm. Anyway, these man got in contact with my agent and was like, we're looking for a solid left back. This man's more like a winger, innit? So we're not really looking for a winger. So I was like, okay, maybe I done too much, innit? Maybe I overdone it. You get me? But I'm thinking, okay, been knocked back, but we go again. So then I've gone to Sunderland to train now. This one's proper been lined up from my agent, and gone Sunderland, trained a joke again. So I'm like, probably trained a little bit better at Rotherham, but at Sunderland I was moving warm, and I ended up not getting a deal through no fault of my own. They didn't actually sign anybody that window. I think it was in a bit of financial troubles. I don't know, but I think it was anyway. But the second knock on the head, I'm thinking like, am I deluded? Like, am I not doing my thing? Do I think I'm starting to contemplate. Am I thinking I'm better than I am? Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm thinking, right, like, I need to have a look at myself, really. I need to have a look in the mirror and say, am I doing what I think I am? So anyway, got another call from my agent, and he said, I've got Blackpool. So these times now, United's actually still letting me go in and train for an extra month, because they said, we know you're coming back from a long time out. You can come and train with us. So I took that. I was actually the only person that took that opportunity from everybody that got released. So they give that to everybody because of COVID.
Yeah,
That was a nice gesture from them. Do you know what I'm
yeah.
saying? Like, they didn't need to do that.
Yeah.
People was putting like, is Mitchell still like, nah, I thought they'd been released. So anyway, I'm training with them, and for some stupid reason, like an idiot, I'm training with the youngest, innit? Not the youngest, but the 23s of that generation, which would have been Ethan Laird and Baller, by the way, serious man. And I've gone in with a 50-50 with one of them, and I've sprained my ankle. My agent's telling me I've got a trial next week at Blackpool. So I'm thinking, damn me, what you doing? Like, why are you going in for 50-50s in training in off season? So anyway, ankle's feeling a bit flimsy. And but I need this trial in it. I'm thinking I need to just ice up the things, get through it, wrap it up. So I've gone to Blackpool now, and I've wrapped it up, and I'm training meaty, bro. Like, I'm training bang average, and they've got a game against Everton first team, and I'm playing against Theo Walcott, and my ankle's half hanging off. I say it was probably a grade 1 in it. Like, you can get through it, but tape that thing up proper. Do you get me? So taped it up now. 45 minutes. I'm playing hard, innit? Like, I'm not playing hard, but I'm showing promises. You get me? And I know that, innit? Like, getting the ball, I'm driving. I'm trying to show my things. You get me? And then one ball gets fizzed in behind, I think by Sigurdsson. Walcott's off, bro. They didn't even see him, like, blindside. Walcott's made a running behind now. And I'm chasing him. I'm thinking, I can't let man bag. Like, I'm on trial, yeah. If my man's run off me and bagged, then I ain't getting this deal. So I've gone to slide, and I've tripped him, in it. Give away a free kick now. I'm thinking, right, I'm getting sent off, last man. Ref said, I'm allow you in it. It's a friendly. Anyway, I'm like, alright, cool. Sigurdsson steps up, slaps it, bends. I'm thinking, just my luck. Anyway, go back to Blackpool, train a bit more. Ankle's feeling a bit better. Probably do a little bit better in the training, to be fair. And then I get the call from my agent saying, these man want to offer you a deal. So I'm like, alright, cool. Like, mad, I didn't expect it. I was buzzing, innit? Met the lads there. Everyone was blessed. And then I said to the man them, I said, you man? I said, I've been offered something, innit? But like, I just want to see what else is out there. Hopefully I'll see you man again.
You said to the players?
To the players, yeah. I said, I've been offered something. Like, I've got a few other options to go and try out elsewhere. So I'm going to shout you, man. Hopefully I see you again. So then man was like, yeah, cool. And then finally agreed terms. Come back about 10 days later. These man was like, right, we thought you was gassing, that you got offered something. So sometimes man will lie in it and be like, yeah, they've offered me something.
You never see them again.
You never see them. Like, I've been offered, but I don't want to take it. But like, I actually did. So these man thought I was chatting rubbish. But yeah, man, I ended up at Blackpool and then had a good season.
That's interesting, because I know you mentioned that you went on loan to Hearts initially. So how was that experience like? Because this is the first time you're probably fleeing the nest, so you're going to live in Scotland. So what was that experience like? Yeah, man, like, I just took it all in my stride. I remember people saying to me, you don't want to go to the SPL, why going to Scotland? And to me, like, Hearts is a big club. So when I heard that they were interested, I jumped at it. Went down to see the training facilities beforehand, which you don't always get the chance to do, but it was fine with that. Like, went down at the time with my agent, looked at the facilities, good facilities, signed there on loan. And I didn't realise it, but when you go on loan, you sign and they just chuck you in. Like, even players that we get on loan at Exeter now, they sign on a Friday, they're in playing on a Saturday. Like, it's like, boom. So I must have played, I think my first game was against Hibernian, which is mad. That's the derby, isn't it? Yeah.
And I think I got man of the match that game. And yeah, it was the first, I'll be honest with you, the first spell I had was about 10, 11 games, and I was frightening. Like, I was smashing it. I was playing wing back, had license to get up and down, bomb forward. And then the second period I was playing more in a back four. And for me personally, the way I play, I'm probably more of a wing back winger rather than a left back wing back. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when we was playing in a back four, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I didn't have my best games. So the second spell was a bit bang average. First spell was quite good. Yeah, if in my honest opinion.
And how would you like sum up your time at Hearts?
Just growth, really. I'd say without playing for Hearts, that spell of me going to the Rotherhams, the Sunderlands, and the Blackpools would have been non-existent, because you see, football, it's like any job in life, innit? You need a CV. So you can have all the expertise in the world, but if you've not worked nowhere and you're going to get one of the best jobs out there, ain't nobody going to be interested in it. They want to see what you got on your CV. So Hearts was kind of like my CV. Like, I've been in men's football, I've played 30 games. So without that, I've seen players that were frightening players that were playing with me at under 23s, and they fell out the game because they didn't have that loan spell that when you leave United you might need, or when you leave a big club you might need. So I feel like that was the main thing, getting them games on my CV and having something to build on. Yeah.
So you joined Blackpool. I know that was a decent time. Obviously, you were
Yeah.
part of the team that got promoted to the Championship.
Yeah.
So, like, how was that sort of camaraderie in terms of, okay, I've left Man United. This is my next club where I can call home.
If I'm real with you, like, I was a bit deluded. So I was a bit deluded, thinking like, I'm gonna leave United, I'm gonna go League One. League One's not that good, and I'm just gonna smack it up and I'll get back to the Prem. Do you get what I'm saying? I'll be real with you. That's what, and a lot of players think that, because I didn't realise the level of League One. I understood SPL because I'd played there, innit? So I thought, yeah, that level's decent, but I hadn't played League One or League Two yet, so I hadn't understood that these men are hard.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
So where would you rank League One versus SPL in terms of like quality?
I'd say there's three things I'd say. So I'd say SPL, the ball's in the air a lot more, which obviously doesn't suit my style of play, innit? Secondly, the refs let a lot more go in the SPL. SPFL, I was getting grilled online for calling it SPL, so apparently it's the SPFL. But yeah, the refs let a lot more go. And in terms of quality, because the league's so small, you've got Celtic and Rangers that are probably low Prem, top champ.
Yeah, I saw you doing a
Yeah,
breakdown
yeah,
online.
yeah, I
So
was doing a
just
little breakdown.
yeah.
Then you've got the Hibbs, Hearts and Aberdeen. I'd personally, in my opinion, place them like I said online, which was a Rotherham, Barnsley, up and down between League One and Champ. And then some of the other clubs, I'd just place them in middle to bottom League One.
And then Rangers and Celtic, top champ. Did you say?
Some of the Celtic team that I played against last year, I would have put them in the Prem, because they had the manager from
And-
Spurs.
And
Yeah,
And they was frightening, bro.
They had that Kyogo as well.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like doing
And the year
damage.
before, Rangers was better than Celtic, with Gerrard. I think it
Yeah,
was Gerrard.
yeah.
And they had Kent,
Morello.
they had
Aribo.
Aribo,
Morelos.
Morelos.
yeah,
Yeah.
Morelos. So they would those when they got to the Europa League final, they was Prem then, innit? But right now, obviously, I'm not playing now, so I don't know.
So talk to us about that promotion season.
Yeah, that promotion season was mad, you know. So I remember the first probably 8 games, we was in the relo, bro. We was in the relegation zone, and like we was thinking, right, like when I went to Blackpool, I clocked that these men are hard. So I was like, right, these, because I'd been at Rotherham, Sunderland, and Blackpool, so I'd seen a various different like levels in it of individual players. So I thought, right, these men have some players. Had Keshi Anderson,
Oh yeah, I've heard
Jerry
of him.
Yates, couple other man, Gary Medine. He's
Proper striker,
proper
yeah,
striker. But he had 17 players brand new together. I didn't realize I was the 17th signing, bro. So when I come there, everybody was new. So I wasn't even a new guy. It was just
It's like a
everybody.
Nottingham Forest, what they done kind of thing, yeah.
So obviously after 8 games, you're not gonna just gel straight away. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it weren't great for the first 8 games, and then we just started picking up results, and we just hit some mad form of about 16 to 17 games of not losing. But I had a funny period there, so I started left back. Had some good games, had some bad games, found myself out of the team. So I went and spoke to the manager, and it was from my own doing. Like I was out of the team off my own doing. So I went and spoke to the manager, and I was like, Gaff, like I think I might be better playing a bit higher up. And I think manager wasn't too sure about it at the time. Played in some training behind closed doors friendlies, started doing my thing, and then started getting some minutes off the bench, higher up, left wing, right wing. started coming on, having an impact, and then before I knew it, I started starting games, and I was finding a little rhythm. Come to the game at Wembley, started, and we went up there. So it was a topsy-turvy season for myself through my own making. But
what was you doing that made you have that sort of, I don't know,
I think
up and down sort of season? Was it training?
I think being a young player. I wasn't that young. I was 23, so let me not say young player. But being inexperienced in men's football, should I say, I was still quite emotional in terms of my performances. So one good game, I'm on cloud 9. Next game, I don't do well. I'm typing my name on Twitter, which is never a good thing to do. People are grilling me.
Do you react to that?
I think a lot of players do, and I see sometimes in the change room after the game, first thing, man are on the phone typing the name in Twitter. Okay. And so people are thinking nobody's seeing these things, but man are typing a name in to see what people are thinking of them. Like, and it's not good. Like, it was actually McTominay that said to me, I think he must have seen me doing it and was like, you shouldn't do that.
Oh, really?
And since then, like, I stopped doing it still.
So that was back at Man United?
Yeah.
Because you always hear people say about McTominay that he had leadership from early. Is that something you saw as well?
I wouldn't say that he had leadership from early, but I would say that he was driven massively from early. Like, McTominay, like, when I was there, was one of these men that when he's having snacks, he's not having digestives, man's having couscous and nuts. You know what I'm saying?
Couscous and nuts?
Couscous and nuts with snack. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That kind of dedication there, the Haaland kind of thing. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say man was driven still. Yeah. Man was really driven. Yeah, 100.
So Blackpool get promoted to the champ. Yeah. So talk to us about your position in the team, or what happened. So
obviously I've transitioned now to a winger because obviously I spoke to the manager, like I just said. So I've transitioned to a winger, and pre-season started, and I'm on smoke, like 3-3, feeling like this is me, like I'm gonna do my thing this season in the championship. I'm ready. And then last game of pre-season, I do my MCL, which is not the worst knee injury, but it's like a 6 to 8 weeker. So I've done my MCL.
It's like the medial cruciate ligament.
Yeah,
meniscus or
no, MCL. Okay. MCL, which is like the inside ligament. So I've done the MCL, and I've done the wrong thing probably, which I always do, you know. I always go, when I get injured, I'm bored, innit? I'm pumping weights, man's putting on size. I'm not looking in the mirror like, yeah, man's looking good. But I get on the pitch and I'm feeling it, bro. I'm feeling it. I'll be honest with you, like, for me, adding 4 or 5 kg, there's no benefit to that, because the way I play, I'm not bodying man anyway. So even if I do add 5 kg, I'm still not going to be bodying man. So all it is doing is slowing me down. So anyway, I've put that muscle on, come back, and to be fair, I was playing right wing at the time, and Josh Bowler, who's now at Forest, he's a player, by the way. Yes, frightening. Yeah. He was playing right wing, and I'm not gonna lie, he was doing his thing, innit?
This is peak.
Yeah. I'm watching that, and I'm gonna be real with you, like, as much as you are a team, when you're on the bench and you're watching and you see a man in your position doing your thing, you're thinking,
fair play.
You're thinking, like,
this is peak.
It's peak still, like, yeah, man, like, do you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, Josh, quality player, one of the silkiest man I've trained with and played with, to be fair. But yeah, struggled to get back in really.
During that period, bro, what is the mentality? Because are you waiting for an injury? Are you like, you know what, fuck this, I need to leave? Like, what's the mentality, bro?
So there, I had 6 months left on my contract at Blackpool, and the mentality was like, I think I'd played 15 games coming up to January. Like, not starts, like 8 starts, maybe 7 or 6 off the bench, innit? So January's come now, and obviously you have the conversation with the club, like, my contract's up at the end of the season. Right now I'm not really playing. What's the situation? Am I going to get a new deal or not? Because if I'm not going to get a new deal and I've got offers elsewhere, at the end of the day, I don't want to be in limbo at the end of the season and have... If you don't play from January to the end of the season, you're going to be a bit forgotten about. So the clubs that you might have been able to get in January, in summer, you're not looking at them clubs no more. You know what I'm saying? You're not playing in 6 months. So if you've got something on the table that's decent and the money's good and it's a lengthy period of time and you've only got 6 months left, you're gonna want to take it, which is what I did, to be honest.
Oh, so did you sort of like push the club to let you go, or?
I was pushing for an answer whether I was gonna get a new deal or not, and it was like, we don't know. We need to see how you do before the end of the season, like the rest of the season. These times bowlers smacking it, scoring goal of the season, dribbling past 5 man. So I'm thinking I ain't gonna play. So yeah, man, that was it basically.
So you went to Hibbs from there?
Yeah, that's right. So I went to Hibbs. Started off with a bang actually. Must have scored on my home debut.
Didn't you do the same thing for Hearts? Did you score for Hearts or you're man of the match?
Man of the match against Hibbs, which is mad. But yeah, went to Hibbs, started off well, must have scored in the cup in my like 4th game, played about 8 matches. It's mad, I know my stats off the top of my head. But yeah, injuries are obviously part of football, innit? So yeah, I've had my fair few in my time. Like I said, my MCL whilst I was at Blackpool, and they just seem to catch me at the wrong times. I had an injury one time at a club, and I must have got injured in a tackle, ankle injury. And yeah, got injured, came in the next day, I spoke to them and said like, what's the plan? Because it was like I was on crutches and that. So I had my scans and that. They said, right, you might need surgery, you might not. So I spoke to the specialist, didn't need the surgery. They was like, it's gonna take 12 weeks to rehab. So I'm like, cool. So I'm like, all right, 12 weeks to rehab. And when you're injured and you've got a goal at the end of it, it's not too depressing because you know every day you're ticking on the days, right? One week less to go. Do you get what I'm saying? So I was fine in that moment. Got to the end of this 12 weeks and I'm still feeling mad pain in my ankle, innit? But this time it's coming from a different part of my ankle. So I'm thinking, is this even the same issue? Because like my ankle feels sturdy, but it's pinching at the back. So I'm like, cool, right? These lot know what they're talking about, innit? So go to see another specialist. He's now saying you need an operation because it's not stable still. So I'm like, all right then, like, is what it is, innit? Like, just my luck. But I'm like, is it really that? Because my ankle's feeling good, and it's feeling pinching at the back. It's like I'm googling things, innit? You know, you do your googles when you're ill. You're thinking, have I got this? Have I got that? So I'm doing my googles now, and I'm like, don't feel great, but these men are saying that if I have the op, it'll be fine. So let's go and get the op, innit? So now I'm 4 months down the line because I tried to train through it. So I'm 4 months down the line now. I am 4 months down the line and then have the operation, which is going to be another 3 months. So I'm 7 months down the line now. So I'm 7 months down the line. I come back and I'm still feeling a thing. Still feeling at the back of the ankle. And now I'm thinking, this is mad. Like, I'm starting to think about after ball and is it ever going to get better? Do you get what I'm saying? These are the things that footballers start to think. So I even contacted the PFA because I was worried that I might not be able to play again. So I'm thinking about coaching roles. It's mad, bro, like what starts going on in your head. So anyway, I get on the phone to my own physio and I'm like, I need to see you because whatever this is, it's not clearing up, innit? And I'm starting to get the shouts at the club. Like, I'm hearing mutters around the club like, is it in his head? Does he really want to play? Does he really want to
doesn't want to go through the pain barrier. So
yeah, and this is getting me mad, bro. So I'm thinking, I need to go and see a specialist back in Manchester. I go down when I've got 2 days off. I see him and he's like, yeah, I think it's this impingement thing that you're going on about. But obviously, he's like, you need to go and see a specialist in Manny, get a certain scan. And I can't diagnose it without you seeing him in it. So I'm mad right now, innit? So I go back to the club and I'm like, yo, this brother's saying that it is the impingement. So I go in at like 7:30 in the morning. I'm a bit teary, bro, because I'm hearing these murmurs about how he don't want to train, like it's alright, it's in his head, and now I'm getting told that it's what I thought it was 6 months ago. So anyway, these lot agreed to let me go and see the specialist. I go and see the specialist, and my man scans the ankle. It's an impingement, cluster of cysts in the back of the ankle. It says, don't worry about it. I'll puncture the cysts. I'll inject it with a steroid injection. You'll be good to go in 7 to 10 days. Bro, I was training in 10 days, bro.
So this thing could have all been sorted in 7 to 10 days, but you went through 7 months of them diagnosing the wrong thing.
It ended up being 9. Do you know what I'm saying? So I definitely got the injury, the ankle ligament injury. But when I came back from that, that's when I had the impingement the first time. But I ended up having a surgery rather than having an injection, so it should have really just been a 3.5 month injury, which ended up dragging out to being a 9 month injury. These times, I'm just getting pelters from left, right, and centre. So it was a very frustrating time for me.
So
Very frustrating.
how is that solved then? Because again, you were right, the club were wrong. Did they sort of hold their hands up and
That's
say,
pushed under the carpet, bro.
so no apologies, no?
Nah, just pushed them. Yeah, maybe like, oh yeah, you was right, didn't you? That's about it.
So is this the manager or the
Nah, the manager was nothing to do with it. The manager had changed over. Like, obviously, the manager's not a physio. He's not. It's not his field, innit? It's just one of them things where I don't blame the club. It's just more of a misdiagnosis from the specialist that I saw whilst I was at the club, and the specialists don't work for the club. The specialists are outsourced.
Oh, it's like an independent.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not. It's just one of them things, really.
So after that, did that, obviously I know it's not based on the club, but did that sort of damage the relationship? Because they were sort
100%.
of saying that, this is in your head, doesn't want to
100%.
play, kind of thing.
I feel like most players, when they've got an issue, 95% of the players, they all want to play in it. They don't want, nobody's faking an injury. Nobody's not wanting to play through the pain. I've had managers come to me and say, Demi, just give me 60 today. I know you've got a knock, but you know I need you today, and you'll do that and you'll play through the pain. Like, that's not an issue, but players know the difference between playing through the pain, which is like a dead leg, which is just pain, or something like that, or bruised bone. You can play through that, but when you've got like something functionally not right, it's difficult to play through the pain because one, in the back of your mind, you're thinking, am I gonna make this worse? And two, it's structurally not right, innit? So you can't play through the pain in that situation.
So how was your manager with the gaffer, Lee Johnson?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about that one still. Yeah.
Why not?
It just wasn't the best relationship that I had with him, I'd say.
Yeah, because in the game you sort of hear murmurs like you see online. I'm not sure if you've seen it, though. People, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying in it, but I don't really like to talk about past managers, good or bad, really, because it's one of them. I don't want to drag anybody down.
Of course.
Even players, I won't ever say anything negative about players.
Of course, but it's like your experiences. Obviously, with Jose Mourinho, like he gave you his debut. Obviously, I'm not.
No. I hear it. Obviously, I don't know. It's one of them things, isn't it? I say he didn't sign me. He didn't sign me at the club. It came to the time where I'd been out for 9 months, and you know what? I'm gonna be real with you. So I was out for, like I said, 9 months. Lee Johnson's come in. After I've got back fit, it's probably been 9.5 months. I'm probably not the sharpest. I'm probably not at my best. I've been missing football for 9.5 months. I was probably a bit depressed at the time because I couldn't get back. I was meant to be a 3-month injury. It's turned into 3/4 of a year. So when I've come back, I'm probably moving sharp in training, but I'm not fit in it. So I'm moving sharp. I've got good technique. I'm always, even if I'm probably put a bit of weight on, I'll always be you get me? Nippy and
sharp with it.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I play in a game, Ross County at home. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have my greatest game. Didn't mess up for no goals. Didn't have a terrible game. Looked unfit. I'll be real. Been out for 9.5 months. Got dragged after 35 minutes.
35.
Yeah, bro.
Jeez.
Maddest thing of my career, I think. Still.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So just when that happens, do you walk straight down the tunnel? Or because like you see
know
a
what?
lot of players.
It's a blur to me right now.
You want to forget about that?
I think I came off. I waited until half time and then got changed in it. I think so. Yeah, man. But that was crazy. And then January came, and the manager that I'm working for now, the relationship, the relationship I've got with him is a very good one still. Like, when I left Blackpool the first time, I didn't touch on this before, but my agent put me in contact with Gary, and we done some one-to-one sessions in Manchester. At the time, he wasn't managing, and I didn't have a club, and he was I think looking to get him back into coaching. So we done some sessions at Mottram Hall, and he kind of got me back into the place of being able to go to the likes of Sunderland and Blackpool and be in good nick, because I feel like without them sessions, I wouldn't have. And he obviously saw something in me, because the first time I signed for Hibbs, he was the assistant, and it was kind of him that got me there, really. So then he's brought me to Hibbs with Sean Maloney, and then the Exeter move came around because he was the manager. So yeah, he's a manager that I've got a good relationship with, and I think he's installed the confidence back in me. He's installed the belief back in me. He's pushed me a bit higher up, which I wasn't sure about myself because I'd been playing wing back for so long. Now going back to playing wing 10, I'm still adjusting to it now, to be honest. I'm still adjusting to it now. But I'm enjoying my time playing. I've had a good start to the season. Hopefully it continues.
I just want to rewind a little bit. You said that when you were making your comeback after how long? 10 months?
9.5 months.
9.5 months. You said you were a bit depressed.
Yeah.
Can you go into a bit more detail as to what was happening?
Yeah, so it was like I said, the first 3 months was fine because I had that goal in my head.
Yeah.
I'm getting back in 3 months. Off season will come. I'll be back the same level as everyone else because they'll be on their holidays. I'll be getting back fit and we're ready to smash it in the new season. So that time was fine, innit? But the time of getting told I need to have an operation now after I've just done a rehab was just demoralizing, innit? Like, it was like I said to you, I started ringing the FA and I was looking at like starting things, not silly to be honest, probably smart at the time, but it was thinking about like loads of investments, these investments, them investments, buy-to-lets, HMOs. I'm watching Samuel Leeds.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying? Yeah. You know that stuff though.
So if you don't mind me asking, is this where you sort of like, when was your clothing line starting to...
You know, that was my first injury at Man United.
Okay.
So, the first injury at Man United that I picked up when I left Hearts, I just kind of wanted to fill my time with something.
Okay.
A lot of footballers, they have so much spare time on their hands, so you'd be in training for, let's say, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and most of the days, on average, you're leaving at 2. So from 2 till 10:30, 11 p.m. when you're going to sleep, so it's a long time to just be twiddling your thumbs. So obviously some players are playing the PlayStation, which I was doing at the time as well. Bit of Fortnite back in the day, you know what I'm saying? Some players are playing golf. I'm not really into golf. Some players are gambling. I don't know. There's so many options that you've got to choose from. So I've always been interested in clothing, and I actually started my first clothing brand when I was 14 called Wabu.
Yeah, we're gonna get into like the clothing at the end of the point.
Okay.
So yeah, I just wanted to scroll back to, you said about the sort of mental sort of challenges you were going about, you know, contacting the PFA and all of that kind of stuff. So what was going on?
What, in my head?
Yeah, like, because like, did you see light at the end of the tunnel, or was it like you're in a dark place? Like, how was it on the day?
You know when I knew that the surgery was mad? So I'm laying at the surgery place. I've got the gown on, innit? You know the one where you just put your boxes out at the back and that. Yeah. I've got the gown on now, and the lady comes in with like the pen in it. You know, they write on your leg before you go down, like which one it is, innit?
Okay.
And she goes, "Oh, she write one in it." I said, "Huh? No." And from that moment, I knew something's not right. Like, she was gonna operation. If I was just like, obviously, I was never gonna say I would have been getting my right ankle done, bro.
That's terrible.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
That's not dead. That's
incompetent.
Yeah, that's negligent.
That just made me feel like just one of the chickens in do you know what I'm saying?
In the slaughterhouse.
Just like one, just a number. Like, oh yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Most people, it is probably the right leg, innit? Because most people are right-footed. And then I was like, no, it's the left one. And she's like, oh, all right.
That's mad. So like January, obviously, like you're at Hibbs. I know they lost, I think, 2 other players as well. Kevin Nisbet, I think he went to Millwall.
Yeah.
And I think is it Ryan?
No, that was okay. Yeah, that was the same transfer window. Sorry, I thought you were talking about the window I signed, innit?
So the window you left Hibbs.
Yeah.
So I know Kevin Nisbet went to Millwall.
Yeah,
and I think Porteous went to Watford as well.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that, going to Exeter.
Yeah, man. So it was one of them where I knew the writing was on the wall, innit? And I'll be honest with you, it was, I didn't have much on the table. Like I said, I hadn't been playing for 12 months. So I didn't really have too much on the table now. And I think I had Forest Green, that was rock bottom of League One, on a loan. And I had Exeter. And realistically, I knew after not playing for so long, I'm looking a lower League One team or League Two team, innit, at that time. So linking back up with Gary, it was kind of felt like a no-brainer, because the only thing that was putting me off was I was 9 hours. I mean, I was 4 hours away in Edinburgh, and now I'm 5 hours away in Exeter. It's a 9-hour trip, bro.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
I had to do that. The thing that people don't realize in football, like you don't know until all the lines and all the signatures are signed that it's happening. So you can't just pack up your house like, yeah, it's happening next week. You've got to just pack it up on the day. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to pack it up on the day, your whole house. These times I've got 2 beds, 3 wardrobes, sofa, table and chairs, all in my house that's in Edinburgh, innit?
So do the clubs like sort that out? Though?
No,
Like,
you get your relocation fee, and it's like, sort it out, innit? Yeah, man.
It's crazy.
And it's like, you got to just obviously when you get to the club, they'll help you out sorting out your place down there, innit? But in terms of leaving the club you're at, there's no help, bro. It's like, you sorted now, do you think?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Which is fine. Like, you get your relocation fee. You need to be a grown adult to figure out the ways to sort your stuff out, innit? Some players are moving from Edinburgh to across the world, innit? Do you know what I'm saying? So that's just a transition in itself.
So you've had like a decent time at Exeter, to be honest. Like, I know you've already basically matched your stats for this season from last season.
Yeah.
I think you just need one more assist and basically match.
Like, you've been doing your homework, innit?
Yeah, I know your stats better than you, bro.
Fuck mob, is it? You going fuck mob?
No,
You don't know about fuck mob?
No.
Yeah, go on fuck mob. It's a good app still.
Okay, in
Yeah,
terms
plug
of
fuck mob, yeah.
Well, you invested in that, yeah? I know you've been doing your business.
Give me some better ratings.
we got our sources. We don't look at Wikipedia. We got our sources.
So like, yeah, obviously it's been a decent season so far for you, innit? And so like, where do you feel physically? Because throughout your story, like, there's been a lot of injuries, a lot of setbacks.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel like you've had that sort of clean run.
Nah,
kind
not
of thing.
yet. Yeah, I feel right now I'm feeling sharp, bro. Like, I'm starting to get that confidence that I had when I was a youth footballer again. Like, just kind of being a bit more instinctive, playing off the cuff. I want to talk about wingers actually. Right now, in this time, I feel like I've noticed a big change in wingers from 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when I was loving football, watching it as a fan, compared to the Premier League, not just the Premier League, global wingers now. Like, I used to look up to the types of players like Neymar. He was like, my first idol was Henry, and then when he kind of got to the back end of his career, it was Neymar. I always had idolized Mahrez.
Yeah.
These kind of man here, Ronaldinho. I feel like those kind of players are few and far between right now compared to 10, 15 years ago. Like, you've obviously got your Viniciuses, you've got Mahrez is just on the back end of Salah. Not even Salah, he's more efficient, to be fair. I just mean man that are just a bit more flary and nimble. You got man that are just like going down the line, doing a little thing, turning up, setting it back to the fullback, or coming inside. I don't know. It's just not as.
It's like,
I think it's being
for
coached
example,
out. It's being
coached out. Like, players are, I feel like they're a bit more afraid to make a mistake, and it doesn't. I'm not saying that it's better or worse. It's more entertaining to see the Mahrez as the Neymars. If you watch Mahrez when he was at Leicester compared to Mahrez at City, it's a different Mahrez. It's a more efficient Mahrez. Probably, he was obviously getting numbers at Leicester, but it's just a more efficient Mahrez in terms of he's not chopping man as much. He's not holding on to the ball and dribbling past man, because it's probably not as effective. You know, a player like Saint Maximin. That's an example. He looks great to watch, but the numbers are not always there, innit?
You know who I would say has a mix of both right now in the Premier League? Matoma.
Yes. That brother right there, he's one of my favourite wingers.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, that guy is clean. You know, he stood dribbling.
Yeah,
he's got a thesis in it. Yeah,
bro.
I need to do that, you know.
Nah, he's dribbling
It's crazy. And his end product always,
Yeah.
like, not always, but this season so far, he's been frightening.
And like, when you look at it in terms of when you expect like a winger to block, he's like what, 25, 26?
Yeah.
So he's like,
Yeah, he's at the
Yeah.
he's at the peak of his, not the peak of his, but he's at that time now where it's perfect to elevate. Do you know what I'm saying? But nah, man, like, yeah, it's definitely. I understand why players are not doing it as much, because, like I said, everything's gone a bit more stat based. I remember back in the day, I used to buzz off watching Soccer and what was it now? Showboat. Yeah. Showboat, and you see man just Ben Arthur and them, man. These kind of players. And
Yannick Bolasie.
Yeah, man. Correct. You know what I'm saying?
Even Wilf.
Yeah, Wolf, man. Like, yeah, it's definitely, the wingers have changed, innit? and I feel like it's growing up as well, because I've changed my game as well as I've gotten older, and as I'm playing higher up, I kind of understand that you have to be efficient, and it's finding a sweet spot between both, like a Matoma. Like, you know, when Anthony's shaking his leg and then passing it back, it's not great. Do you know what I'm saying? Nah, not to disrespect Anthony,
of course,
but I'm just using it as an example.
It's fluff. It's fluff.
It's not gonna get like it's not.
And it
it's
doesn't
not
even
goal,
look
it's
good.
on the
People are
sit.
not thinking.
I'm thinking this is nonsense.
No, you're right.
So there's a sweet spot that you have to find, innit? And it's hard to find still, because you wanna entertain, but you wanna be efficient and get the stats and assists. And the stats that I got last year actually were quite good, because I was playing wing back all of the matches. So 16 starts, 2 goals, 3 assists. Wing back, it's not the worst.
1
So
in 3. It's not
I can't really compare this season's start to last season, because I'm playing a different position. So I feel like I've just carried on the track that I was kind of going on from last season, really. But
So for you, like, you're just on your stats as well. Obviously, you want to contribute to the team, but it's about, okay, like, I know, obviously, I've got aspirations of playing at the highest level.
Yeah.
And numbers are going to deliver me playing at the highest level, kind of thing.
Yeah, 100%. Of course, the main thing that you know that the higher you finish up in the table with your team respectively is gonna get you a better move as well. So, you know, you can have stats, but if you, I don't know, end up playing and finishing in the bottom 3, then they're not really that valuable. So you want a blend of both, really. Stats is not really something that I like. I looked at my game too much, as I've been mainly a wing back. So now that I'm playing higher up, I've shifted my focus a bit towards it. And I think the thing that helped me, if you look at a lot of my goals, I've scored quite a few good goals in my career.
Yeah,
like,
to say the least, man. You scored some bangers.
Yeah, I've scored some good goals, man. So I know I've got that in the locker, but then when I've got time to think about it, that's the finishes that I'm not finishing off, which is what I need to work on. So I think I had a 1v1 against Burton. I've done outrageous touch, like backheel touch thing, to get myself in a position to bury it, and I've overthought it and not overthinking, but rushing at the same time. It's a weird thing, but it's something that if I feel like if I can nip that in the bud or work on that, I could add maybe 5 or 6 goals to my end of my season. So yeah.
And would you say you're feeling fitter than ever?
Yeah, right now the way I'm feeling, like, with me it's always about game time. So I can do as much running in pre-season, I can do as much leg weights or weights in the gym, but until I've got that sustained period of games, I don't ever feel like on a run, and I don't ever feel fit. Like, I've been saying to my family, like, right now this is probably one of the fittest I've felt in my career now, and probably when I first went on loan to Hearts, when I had a run of games and I was flying. So if I can stay fit, inshallah, then yeah, man, I feel like I'll be onto a good season.
And what's next for you, bro, from a personal standpoint?
For me, you know what, yeah? Football's a funny game, innit? So right now, people will be saying, Mitchell, like, if he carries on the way he is, then he could be in for a good move in the summer, or get a good new deal, or I don't know, innit? But like, in football, things change like this, do you know what I'm saying? Touch wood, I could get injured, and, you know, I'm thinking my contract's done at the end of the season, am I going to get a new one? So I feel like these are the things people don't think about sometimes. Like I said, I've been in situations before where I thought I was going to be released, ended up playing for the first team. So things change in football very quickly, so you can't really plan too far ahead. You don't know what club you're going to be at in 9 months' time at the end of the season. You don't know if you're going to get a new deal. You don't know how well you're going to do. So yes, it's all well and good to say these are my goals, but in terms of like next move or ambitions, you can have ambitions, yeah, but in terms of next move or where I want to be, it's very difficult to say.
I wanted to talk to you about, I don't know, the financial side of playing in the lower league, because I think a lot of people get misconceptions. If they think professional footballer, they think baller. When he retires, doesn't have to work again, he's nice. But I think when you get to like League 1 and League 2, you see like short-term contracts being handed out, like 1 year, stuff like that.
I'm not even getting 6 months.
6 months, bro. Obviously, since COVID, I know it's been a bit techie. So how do you sort of like navigate your life knowing that there's no real security?
I feel like So usually Premier League's like 4 to 5 year deals. Championship maybe 2 to 3, sometimes 4. League One and League Two is 1 or 2 year deals. Like, it's very rare someone's getting slapped on a 3-year contract unless you're 22 or 21 and they want to protect their asset at the club. Do you know what I'm saying? So in that respect, like, it's all well and good being on decent money, but you kind of can't plan too far ahead because you don't know if that decent money that you've got for the year, if you is going to be anything at the end of the season. Do you know what I'm saying? I've played with players that have been playing League One and they're not playing at all, or they've been playing League Two and they're out the game. They've not played for 2 years. Like, football's done. So yeah, it's easy to say he gets decent money or he's nice after football, but the truth of the matter is, unless you're playing Premier League, because you have to understand, let's say 10k a month for, because it's an easy number, innit? You got a 2-bag mortgage, you got your whip for yourself, maybe a whip for your mum, you've got insurance to pay, you've got maybe a holiday that you're going on. Let's say your outgoings is 6 bags, yeah. Alright, you got 4 bags that you're saving, innit? End of that contract's done. Where you finding 6 bags? Because you still got the mortgage, you still got the monthly payments on the car, you still got the insurance,
and the cost of living
and the cost of living's going up, bro. So it's like, where you finding 6 bags? So you can't really. A man that's on 100 bags that's a doctor, and a man that's on 100 bags that's a footballer is very different. Because I'm a doctor or whatever job, accountant, banker. I've got a boy that he's earning decent money, yeah. Big up Sam, yeah, you're doing your thing still. Sam's been elevating, he's the same age as me, innit, but he's doing well for himself. But he's a banker, innit? And like, he's on good bread now, but he knows his whatever he's getting now is never gonna drop below that. He knows that until he's 65, he's just elevating, promotion, or even if he stays on the same or with him gets little increments from inflation. He knows until he can plan his whole life, bro. Yeah. He can say 35-year mortgage, I'm gonna do this. By that time I can get this. He can probably spend 80% of his wage and only save 20. Whereas a footballer, if he's doing that, spending 80% of his wage, is a bit silly still, because realistically, like I said, if you got a 2-year deal, I don't even like getting a car longer than what my football contract term is, because it's just scary to me thinking I could not have a job and I've got something that's got to go out every month. Do you know what I'm saying?
Crazy, man.
So it's a lot different than of course it's a blessed position to be in terms of being able to do something that you love for good money, but at the same time I feel like people get it's a bit misunderstood, the situation.
How have you navigated that? Because again, even the contract that you've had at Exeter, obviously you were in a position where maybe you didn't have much leverage because you're coming back from an injury. So how do you sort of view that in terms of obviously trying to push to get to the next level?
What do you mean? So they say that again. So
obviously when you joined Exeter, obviously it was a position of no leverage. So I'm sure maybe the money that they were offering, it wasn't top dollar.
Yeah.
In that sense.
Well, you have to understand, when players are leaving clubs that they're contracted to, it's very rare that they end up with a loss, like coming out on a losing end. Like for example, Harry Maguire has been offered, I don't know how much, to just leave the club, in it. So most time you don't find yourself out of pocket in it when you've moved club. If you've gone to a club that you might think that you've dropped in wages, in it. So it wasn't really too much of an issue with that, but it was just a transitional period, in it, and understanding that it's not, I wouldn't call it a stepping stone, but of course I'm not gonna lie and say I don't have ambitions to be playing higher up in it. Like, my realistic goal is probably to get myself to a top end championship team, because I'm 26 now. Sometimes you have to be realistic. You get me? Like, I always tell younger players in the changing room, your most important years is 18 to 22, because if you can just do well at that age, you don't have to do great and you can get a move. You can have a good season at 20 and you'll get a move to a championship team. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had a teammate, he had a very good season, to be fair to him, Josh Key. He's now at Swansea. It weren't like the best season in the world, but it was a good season and he's young, innit? So he's got a nice move. Yeah. Whereas maybe a 27, 28-year-old that's had that same season, they won't be able to get that same deal. So if you can do your thing between 18 and 22, you're going to be on for good things in your career, man, 100%.
Yeah, so talk to us about life outside of football. What does Demetri get up to?
Yeah, man. Of course, I got my clothing brand. This is one of the newest collections, but it's not out yet. It's dropping about mid-October, innit? So free spirit. That's how I like to live life, innit?
Yeah.
Benirclo. Yeah, that's what I do when I get home. Like I said, a lot of spare time on my hands. I got a little one too. I've got little property investments here and there. But yeah, the main thing I like to do, man, is work on my clothing brand, and I'm a big fan of boxing, so like a lot of man like golf. Boxing's my kind of thing, innit?
No, I'm big into boxing as
Really,
well.
yeah?
Yeah, I love my boxing,
man,
innit? So what do you make of the landscape right now?
Of boxing?
Yeah.
Ooh, it depends what division we're talking about. My favorite division right now is probably, I like the lightweight division, and the welterweight division. So obviously in the lightweight you got Tank. You've got Lomachenko, Javante. You've got
Devin Haney,
them man in it. So some very big fights there to be had in it. I've not watched too much of Shakur, but I've heard he's frightening. So I'm interested to see what he does. Right now, I've got to say Terence Crawford after that performance.
He's
the GOAT still right now.
Yeah, definitely,
he's the GOAT. Obviously, I watched that Eubank fight the other day. I'm friendly with Conor Ben, so hopefully that they can get that on. Yeah, I got a picture of him with the Benet t-shirt on. First ever collection. Big up Conor Ben still as well. You get me? Yeah, man. Hopefully I can. I like Conor Ben as a fighter, man. He's ferocious. When he talks, I believe him when he talks about what he's gonna do to opponents. Like I like the trash talk side of things, and I feel like that's why when I'm on Twitter, I've only just started recently on Twitter with the polls and the controversial things, but I'm a wind-up merchant, innit? I'm at training. These are the same things I'm talking to my teammates about, and I feel like the social media. Sorry, when I'm talking, I just go off on tangents.
like me.
But the social media thing, I feel like football has lost its connection with the fans, like player to fan connection, innit? And I feel like Twitter is a platform where you can do that, man. Do you get what I'm saying? Like when I'm giving it back to a few fans, like I don't mind criticism, innit? If man said, you know what, you weren't too great in your second spell at Hearts, I said, you know what, you're probably right, innit? Like that's, you're entitled to your opinion, innit? But when man are saying you're shit, ugly bastard, and all of that, like do your thing, but I'm gonna come for you, innit? You get me? I'm gonna come like you're a man and I'm a man. If you're gonna chat shit to me, I might chat shit back to you. I'm not gonna say anything that I shouldn't be saying. Do you get me? But I might say, like, I feel like you look at some of my tweets, you'll see what I'm talking about, innit? But I feel like it's just tongue in cheek, half of the things I say. It's just
banter.
It's banter, man.
Friendly banter.
It's funny. It's football banter. Do you know what I'm saying?
You know what's mad? I'm gonna go on a tangent quickly, if you don't mind. And obviously we're talking about boxing and stuff like that. And I just wanted to ask you in regards to drug testing in football, like because recently we're seeing a lot of athletes testing, positives for, banned performance enhancing drugs and all of that kind of stuff. So how is the testing in football?
It's random, innit? Like, to be honest, it was in the other day. I don't know if that's the Paul Pogba effect. But
so how many times do you get tested in a season?
You could go the whole season without being tested. It's just out of a hat, innit? Sometimes you might get tested 3 times in the season. They'll come in, they'll just turn up, they'll be watching training, and they'll be like, you need to come with us. They follow you around. You can't leave the site, innit? Like, they come into the changing room. If you want to get a shower, them man are there watching, like. Them man are there, like. So, yeah, it's just random, innit? So
have you been tested this season, or?
No, not yet, but I'm sure I will be because of probably the highlight of Pogba, innit? I reckon that they'll probably start testing a little bit more.
So you think stuff like that has an impact in regards to, there's been a high profile player.
Yeah, 100%. I remember when I was at United, a player was promoting Herbalife, and within a week he started getting tested because he was promoting he hadn't been taking anything illegally, but because he was promoting a substance that wasn't batch tested, that man had us on it. Do you get what I'm saying? So I feel like that does play a part, and that's probably why they was in 2 days ago.
That's interesting. So even like talking more about your clothing line, Benet, so how do you juggle that with the football? Is it challenging, or?
Do you know what it is? It's thrilling. I wouldn't say it's too challenging. It's thrilling. It's not too. You know what? I had a manager once tell me. I'm not gonna say who it was, but they said, "I think you should quit football still. These times football weren't going too good for me," and he was like, "I think you should pack it in. Like, just if you're making money from your clothing brand, just do that." And that hurt me a lot. Still, that hurt me a lot because football is my number one passion, innit? and for someone to just say like just give up basically, it was tough to take. But yeah, going back to the clothing, some people are mad. Some people think that like I've got all the stuff at my house and I'm going to Royal Mail and I'm posting it in the letterbox. And then on the other scope of things, some people think we've got this massive warehouse that's the Benir factory.
That's what I think.
and it's the same like Boohoo Man, and it's like it's not like that, and it's not like that. It's the way it works is, so we've got a fulfillment center which deal with all the returns and all the parcels. So we will deliver the stock that we've made. I'm in my living room. I'll get my tape measure out. So let me tell you the process from start to finish. Yeah. So something like this, I'll get a hoodie that I like, the shape of, the silhouette, and I'll measure out the arms, I'll measure out the back, I'll measure out the center back length, and then I'll send that fit spec to the factory. They'll then send me some fabrics to choose from, or I've got a fabric book. I'll look at the fabric book, I'll say I want 450 GSM, I want 500 GSM, whatever the weather. I'll send them
What's GSM?
Sorry, that's grams per square meter. So they'll cut out a square meter and they'll put it on the scales, and you could have two fabrics that are the same size, but one of them's only weighing 300 grams and one of them's weighing 450. So I'll tell them I want a 450 or a 500, because for me it's very important that people appreciate what I've made. So if I couldn't make Boohoo Man quality because I'm got quite a big ego in terms of people, not an ego, but yeah, an ego where I don't want people to say that Demetri Mitchell's brand like looks alright but it's shit quality. That would hurt me, innit? So I always try and make sure that the quality is bang on. Sometimes it hurts my pocket because I could easily make cheaper clothes, sell it for a similar price and make more profit. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can't do that. So anyway, I'll make the design on Illustrator when I'm at home. So this is like me playing PlayStation. So my version of PlayStation is making this design on Illustrator, send that off to the factory. They'll then get the samples made after I sent them the design, the tech pack with the measurements on. That'll come back. I'll say change this, change that. Good to go. They'll make the batch, ship it to the fulfillment center, put the barcodes on, ship it to the fulfillment center, and then the fulfillment center will scan it in, and then it's good to go live. I'll do the photo shoot before it's landed, so it's good to go as soon as it drops at the fulfillment center. But the fulfillment center is a place where you could have your own brand. It doesn't have to be clothing, it could be anything, and they've got loads of different brands at that fulfillment center that they'll pick and pack for, and that's how they'll make their money in it. So they'll put a little drink on top of the postage. Do you know what I'm saying? Which is off. It's good, and you'll pay your warehouse fee for storing it there. So in terms of everything, in terms of picking and packing it and sending it to customers, that's boxed off. So that allows me to be able to focus on balling it and just do the website and do the Illustrator and marketing. That's with a third party company as well. Big up Real Returns on that one. So yeah, that's the process, man. And sometimes you deal with customers with the returns, and I feel like they think they're talking to a robot or a chatbot or just somebody that doesn't have. And I'm replying to them myself on a Shopify inbox, and it's like, man, I start getting cheeky, and then it's hard for me
to be professional.
And I'm like, brother, like, have some respect. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I've had people being racist. A black man was being racist to me, saying, go back to your own country. And I'm like, brother, like, and then my man said, I thought it was a Polish brand. But I said, that's besides the point, brother. Like, so yeah, like, it's funny sometimes, man. It's funny sometimes, but I feel a lot of people have been, I won't say supporting, because I don't like that word, because I don't think it's support. I think people genuinely like the clothes, and they're not. I don't like people purchasing it just for support. I like them to want to buy it. Do you know what I'm saying?
I was telling you before that I've purchased like 2 pieces.
Yeah, man.
You can go back to our episode, I think with like Jason Punch and 2-3 years ago, where I was supporting the hoodie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I came across it on Instagram, so I said, you know what, I like this brand. Let me support, man.
You know what I'm feeling? Your the new flares that you've got.
The flares, yeah. These are a pair of them right now.
I'm gonna have to grab a pair.
Not bad still.
Yeah, they're not bad still.
No combo. Yeah. This one 85, bottoms 95. I'm saying Benirclo.com.
Come on. So what's next for Benir?
Oh, what's next, man? So
do you want to be one of the top?
My goal for Benir right now is I've spoke to my friends about this. Is to just be in a position by the time I finish football to be able to do that full time. So if that's, I'm not gonna put figures on it, but as long as that's me and I don't have to think, what can I do after ball? Do I need to do this? Like I don't want to have to be in a position when I've finished to have to be doing that 9 to 5. That's a bit of a fear of mine. Be in a position where it's like, I need income for my family. I need to do a 9 to 5. I just want to get it to the position where it's like an enjoyment and a hobby that I'm also earning good money from. But I say the short-term goal, we've just got some investment. So we're going to be doing a big range in spring, which is going to involve probably 3 times the amount of stock that we've usually got, which is a big step in the right direction. So yeah, it should be good.
Oh, that's dope.
You see brands right now doing their thing, obviously. Mana Devar, Reece Obara, ex-footballer, Cortez as well, killing it. So are those sort of brands that you look at and think, you know what, I respect what you're doing, I want to get there one day, or are they competition?
Now, I wouldn't say that the competition, because at the end of the day, there's levels to this thing, innit? So I wouldn't say in terms of design there's or quality, but in terms of like the business aspect of Cortez and MDV, like they're in the Premier League, you know what I'm saying? Right now, I'm probably League One, so
pushing champ.
Yeah. Like my football career, you get me? I think Benir and me, we're going on the same trajectory, you know what I'm saying?
100.
So yeah, not in terms of quality and design, but in terms of like
packaging, like
how big we are right now.
Yeah.
We're a League One. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So respect to them, man. Them man are.
Do you have relationships with them? Cause I know Reece Obara is obviously like a footballer.
Yeah,
you sort of see his content. Like he seems to have a.
I probably look at the brand
mindset.
and I look at George Heaton, who's represent. Yeah, like I like that brand a lot, man. He's killing it, man. Like I watch a lot of his stuff on YouTube. They've got a new space that looks frightening. Physically, he's in good nick. Like he's killing it right now still. So yeah, represent definitely a big inspiration of mine. Along with there's some other little brands out there that I like as well still. Fully Paid, that's my guy still. Yeah, man. I'm trying to think of some other stuff. Cole Buxton, I don't know them now, so
yeah. So like, as a fashion brand, as you said,
Yeah.
there's loads of like different. So how do you sort of like find your own thing to stand out? Is it?
Do you know what it is? So with clothing, there's a big difference. There's a small line, but a big difference between copying and inspiration. So you need to find that right balance, because you know that there's a trend, but you don't want to look like you're copying too much in it. So although sometimes I might make something that I'm looking at and thinking that's frightening, I can't release it because I know that it's too close to do you get what I'm saying?
And you've seen
So
like
I'll
a
try and
couple of
chop and
those brands
change it.
in the past sort of have.
Yeah, exactly. A
Yeah.
bit of beef in it. But you know what? For me, if I did copy something a bit too much and I got drawn out for it, I say, you know what, bro? I'm not gonna lie. Your thing's hard. I thought I tried to. I drew some inspiration from it. Maybe I copied it too much in it. Apologies on that one. You get
That's
me?
humble.
Yeah, because
Humble.
it sometimes it happens, man. Like, not gonna lie. You try and follow the trends, innit? Do you know what I'm saying?
There's only so much you can
There's only
do.
so much. Right now,
let's be
the bubble print thing's hard, innit? Like, so put a little bubble print thing on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to take bits and bobs. What I try and do is I'll take a little bit from there, I'll pinch a bit from there, and I'll mesh it together into one. Do you know what I'm saying? So, like, I made a collection called the Casuals Collection, and it had the rubber badge there from, like, I'll say essentials. But I twisted it with a few other elements from other things that I drew inspiration from. So, yeah, you can't, like I said, copy and inspiration, small line, man. Small line.
I wanted to talk to you. I know we probably brushed over it, like the Man United here and now.
Yeah,
Obviously
yeah.
under Ten Hag, there's been a few situations recently. Obviously with like Jadon Sancho, Ten Hag sort of called him out after the press conference, said he's not training.
Yeah.
If you were Jadon, like how would you react? Would you, I don't know, go on social media? Would you knock on the manager's door? Or would you just keep quiet and just keep training?
For me, I've got a different perspective on that situation in terms of with Sancho replying on social media. I don't think it was the right thing to do, but I don't think he was coming for the manager and saying, I think he said something along the lines of, not everything you hear is true.
I've been made a scapegoat.
Yeah. And I don't think that's him going at the manager. I think he's talking about all the media attention, because media was saying, is he turning up late? Is he being disrespectful? Is he big time? So I think he was more talking about what the media was portraying of him rather than the manager saying he's not trained well, because the manager's at the end of the day entitled to what he thinks. But when you hear outside noise of people murmuring, saying that it's this, it's that, and it's nothing to do with that, and you've been on time you've not been disrespectful, you've not been big time, and you've just not had a good week of training, it's like, why is everyone on my case saying I'm doing these things and I'm not? So I feel like, I don't think, this is just my opinion, innit? Maybe I'm a bit biased because I'm a player, but I don't think he was coming for the manager. I think he was coming for the media.
And another person I wanted to speak to you about is Anthony, because I've got a lot of Man United fans that have sort of said, yeah, basically this guy's not cutting it. Like, as a winger in the Prem, he doesn't have any sort of special effects. He doesn't.
I thought he was going to ask me about the situation that he's on right now. So I prefer not to speak.
Like Jose.
But yeah, on the football side, go on.
Yeah, in terms of, because you're in a great position to answer this, because you played fullback and you also play winger now. So like, I used to be a left back, by the way.
Okay.
And like, a lot of people say he hasn't got a special effect in terms of like pace to beat a man. Like, he's only got that one trick in terms of like cutting in and using his left foot. So like, as a winger at Man United, do you think he's got like the ability to make it there?
It's a good question. I wouldn't say ability to make it there sounds a bit harsh, innit? But I'd say in terms of what I'm looking at in the Premier League right now, wingers, when it's coming to Matoma, like you mentioned, when it's coming to Rashford, Saka, I personally can't see Anthony reaching them heights, innit? Hopefully it proves me wrong. Like, I'm not trying to drag anybody down.
Of course,
I'm just giving my honest
football
opinion.
debate.
When I'm talking about football, about Premier League players, I'm just a fan because I'm playing League One. These men are better than me, so I'm not trying to say Anthony's
dead or no.
You get what I'm saying? Like, because he's playing high level than me.
So
I'm just talking from a fan's perspective. But yeah, when I'm watching as a winger myself, I feel like that left foot that he's got, that you can put top bin, it's quality, innit? Like Ian Robben-esque. But Robben, I played against him, he's got a lot more to his game than just cutting in and slapping it bins. Mourinho, this is a good story. You'll like this one. So I'm warming up now. We're playing Bayern Munich. In fact, we had a room with Barca the game before. I'm on the bench against. I'm starstruck, bro. I'm seeing Messi, Suarez, and Neymar, bro. I'm stood next to them in the tunnel. Like, these things, these memories, you don't take them in at the time. But when I'm looking back, I'm just there. Like, I'm comparing my height to Neymar and Messi. I'm looking at his trim. Like, it's crazy, man. But yeah, so I'm warming up against Bayern. I come on, and before I come on, Mourinho goes to me, kid, because he used to call all the youngsters kid, innit? Kid, show him down the line. Show him down the line. Don't let him come inside. Like,
I think every defender's probably been told that.
Yeah, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. So these times now, like, I'm like over showing him down the line, innit? Like, I'm showing him down the line, and now, even then, he still cuts back, bro. I'm like, how the hell is my man chopping it back? And I'm giving him the whole line, you know what I'm saying?
Different level, isn't it?
He was clean still. He's one of the sharpest men that I played against. I've got a good picture of that one still. I might have to frame it. He's one of my idols as well.
Nah, what a player, man.
Frightening, man.
I think before we wrap up, we just want to quickly go into a 5-minute segment where we ask you just random quick-fire questions.
Yeah.
Best player you've played with in your career?
Played with, I have to give that one to. When you ask this question, sorry, it's meant to be quick fire, isn't it?
Yeah. You want to
let me ask you something.
Cool.
When you're asking best player, does that mean the best player that's reached the heights of their career? So let's say Rooney, or does best player mean the one that I've thought, wow, the most of? That one.
The latter, yeah.
All right, so we'll really top start again, innit? Go on.
So, who would you say is the best player that you played with?
In training and in the game, Paul Pogba.
Both times. In training and in the game, it's him, hands down, yeah.
And Marcus Rashford. Yeah.
So the best stadium that you've played in?
Old Trafford. If we're talking about a full stadium, if we're talking about reserve matches, Emirates is quite good as well.
Best talent that was deemed to be the next big star but didn't make it to the top of their game.
I played with?
Yeah.
Callum Gribbin. You might not even have heard of him. This brother was clean. Gribbo. Oh my gosh. The guy was like a mix of Ozil, left-footed. It was a mix of Ozil and Odegaard, like that kind of player. He was clean, bro. Like, find up. I appreciate things that I can't do in football, innit? So when man's got an eye for a pass, that's just like that vision in behind weighted, that makes me go wow, because that's not something that's in my locker too much. Do you understand? So yeah, him, Callum Gribben, man, 100%.
Best player in the Prem right now.
Ooh, KDB, hands down.
Prem all-time 11. Quick.
Prem all-time 11. I gave this on
Yeah,
Twitter
you
the other
did.
day. I've changed it.
What have you changed?
Oh, so I've got Edison in goal because we're popping it out the back. Wrapping it.
Check, Van der Sar, there's
Alisson.
so many. Yeah.
Alisson over Edison, yeah.
100%.
I mean, the Brazil national team, I think that as well, you know.
I hear it still. I had a lot of stick for that one.
Whoa, was everyone saying Alisson?
Everyone was like, Alisson or Van der Sar. Or,
yeah.
I can't say Schmeichel. Anyone that I'm saying after 2004 because Tony Adams, Schmeichel, Keane, Cantona, I didn't really watch
Even
these,
Petr
man.
Cech, he's got the record in
Yeah,
terms
yeah,
of...
Yeah, I could have put Cech in there still, but I've gone Edison still.
Okay.
Right back Walker speaks for itself. Yeah. You putting Gary Neville?
Nah, I'm putting Trent.
Trent over Kyle Walker. Are you a Liverpool fan?
Yeah, but I'll put Trent.
Kyle Walker. I think
Trent
Trent's
has
amazing.
changed the game.
Trent's
I think
amazing.
Kyle Walker, the longevity has been mad, and
Crazy.
it seems like he's getting better. To be fair,
Trent has hit what 50 Premier League assists in 100.
Nah, Trent's an unbelievable right back.
Yeah,
But I'll just give it to Walker.
no, that's
Centre back, Rio and Terry.
Company, Van Dijk.
Not Van Dijk for me. Not longevity enough.
Yeah, he had a dope peak, but it's sort of like
yeah.
petered out a bit. Yeah.
100%. I could have put Company still. I think he's hard. I think he's serious.
so you went for Rio and Terry.
Yeah, Mad Max in it. Left back Ashley Cole.
Evra
was
No, Ashley Cole, hands down.
Yeah, no, in terms of,
yeah.
I'm just thinking about alternatives. You get what I'm saying?
Evra's a close second.
Yeah,
Evra's a close second. He was actually the person I took a picture with when I signed my scholarship. Evra. Maybe that was when deemed to play left back for United after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ashley Cole, and then I've got CDM. I've switched it, but I'm not going with the CDM. I'm just going with a 3 centre mids now, and I'm taking out Vieira, and I'm putting in Yaya.
Yeah.
And I'm going KDB and Gerrard, because I feel like Gerrard and Yaya can hold it down for me in a 2.
Isn't that too attacking? You know, Vieira.
That's why I put
adds that.
Vieira in there. Do you get me? But
It's your
I
team,
could have got
man.
Kante.
Yeah,
I could have put Kante in. I could have put Kante, but I can't leave Yaya. Yaya is one of my favorite Premier League players
I heard
ever.
that. David Silva.
Yeah, honourable mention.
Okay.
Honourable mention.
Can't have too many City as a United.
Yeah, left wing. I've gone Ronaldo. Even though he played more for United on the right, I'd have him on the left in it, because Madrid was just unstoppable. Right wing. I'm not a massive fan of Salah. Like from the eye test watching, I prefer a Hazard or a Mahrez in terms of fluidity and just appreciation of the way that they play in it. But Salah, with the stats and what he's won and the efficiency, like if I could mold my game off him the way I'm playing right now, I feel like that would be a good person to watch and take in terms of being clinical, being efficient, but also some of his goals he scored against like City when he's beating a few man. Like he's got that in the locker as well. So yeah, Salah's inspirational still, and up top the goal in it, Henry. Can't
A
beat
lot of
it.
dope strikers in the Prem though, like Kane,
Rooney.
Suarez, Aguero. Many people.
You can
I'm
only pick
surprised you
11,
don't
man.
have Rooney, you know.
Rooney, yeah. Now
Man
what it is with
United.
Rooney, obviously he was like a 10-9 in it, and I couldn't take out KDB, and Henry was my idol growing up. So I feel like, yeah, I couldn't miss. It's only 11 players, isn't it? But nah, I wouldn't have put Aguero in. Unbelievable player as well, but I would have put Suarez had a close. Suarez was close. Kane, nah.
No.
For me, Kane isn't clutch. He's not clutch. Like,
I know there's been a debate. I think I saw a debate
that's
about
nonsense.
when
Really, yeah?
like, what big moments has he delivered?
I take
for Tottenham?
Drogba over Kane.
But people can argue Thierry Henry at Arsenal. What
big moments?
Champions League he did it. You know.
Yeah,
I think those players they're top regardless. Whether
But
they're
Henry
squad.
did win things with Arsenal.
He did.
So in terms of like manager as well, who would be managing? Is it
Pep's manager, man.
Pep.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Before, about my dad's a City fan, innit? And 4 or 5 years ago, I would have a debate with him when Liverpool was doing a thing like Klopp has done it with a less budget, innit? But I can't argue Pep's thing, man. Like
It's different, man.
It's different.
So what I wanted to, in 5 years, would you be revisiting Haaland for, let's say, Henry, or for you that's set in stone, it can never change?
I think you mentioned it, the eye test.
The eye test with Haaland just like
It's not there.
it's not there, bro. It's not there.
But let's be honest,
Do you know
we
what,
haven't
though?
seen anything like this, bro.
Nah, we've not seen anything like this. But and you know what? Yeah, I'll be real with you. Sometimes Haaland, his feet, it's not the worst. Like
But it's not.
it's not clean, innit? You know what I'm saying? It's not
a nice
Zlatan.
one.
Zlatan for his size is like Haaland, innit?
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Zlatan, if you see them goals he's scoring
Elegant,
for
yeah.
Ajax and that, he's chopping, man. He's twisting, man. I got a funny story about Zlatan as well, man. When I was at United, but
Okay.
You know,
Come on, story
We'll use
time,
that to wrap up.
so I'll finish with this one. So I'm training with United now, and we're doing like 5-0s in it, and Zlatan is an opposite team to me, and they get on the ball now, and Zlatan's pissed this session, innit? Because I think someone tried to body him, and he was fuming that one of the youngers tried to body him, innit? I can't remember who it was, but yeah. So he was just on smoke the whole session, and then I've got the ball now, and I've lined him up like 1v1, and I've shifted it inside like to go whip one, innit? My man's just gone, bah! Knee, thigh height,
Wow.
chop me down.
What?
I'm on the floor now, innit? Like it's not like an injury. It's just a dead leg, innit, or like a cut on a little bit of a slash. Nothing too major, but it's painful. And my man, like, I thought my man was gonna, yeah, like sorry, bro, like, you get me, like, it was a bad challenge. Man stood over the top of me and goes, "Do not dribble in training. I don't like little dribblers." That's what he said to me, bro. And from that moment there, I thought, Ras, this thing is real, like.
Welcome to Man United.
Welcome,
And that's
bro.
the most sort of Zlatan thing ever.
Yeah,
Like, all these quotes you see,
You know what I'm
like
saying?
those,
It was mad, like, but Zlatan, I remember the first training session, it was his first training session, and he was training with, like, the players that was not in the squad, innit? And man must have, like, flip-flap, done a step over them, flip-flapped it round me, and come the other side, I was bamboozled, bro. Like, it was frightening, but yeah, Zlatan was a good player, man. Very good.
Nah, Dimitri, bro, it's been an absolute pleasure. Before we wrap up, we have a closing tradition on this podcast where we ask the guests to recommend a potential guest in football to come onto this platform. Who comes to your head?
That I have links with.
Yeah.
Keshi Anderson, good personality, at Birmingham right now.
Okay.
And I think he would like to come on.
Okay.
Trying to think who else that would be good to come on the show.
One more. Give us one
One more. Ethan Laird.
Okay.
He's at Birmingham as well.
Yeah.
I think he's at Blues.
He was at like, Bournemouth QPR, I believe. Yeah, I know
For
that.
me, I only got to train with him a handful of times, innit? But he's got everything, bro. Like, he's quick. He's got tech. He's a big lad. Like, for a right back or right wing back, he's solid, bro. Like, there's nothing to his game. If you got tech and you fast and you strong, as a wing back or full back, there's not much more you can ask, innit? So, yeah, and he's a big personality as well. He'll be good to have on.
Cool.
One more. He probably won't come on, but Jerry Yates. he's banter, bro.
Yeah.
He's banter. He'll be good, man. He'll be good. But yeah, them three.
No, bro, it's been a pleasure, man. Like 1 hour,
Absolutely,
50
bro.
minutes, like
Nah,
coming all the way
appreciate
from
it.
Exeter to
Yeah,
come
man.
check us, obviously to get your passport. Yeah,
Quickly fit us in, innit?
Yeah, it's
so-
only right, man.
love, man, love.
I appreciate
Love,
that,
bro.
Brother,
Love,
Brother,
man.
love.
my guy.
My guy. Love, bro. We're going to leave it there. That's another episode of the Beautiful Game Podcast. Over and out. Peace.